Okay, I'm back. I think this is my fourth attempt at a live stream today, so hopefully this one will be good, interesting, whatever. I'm back in the truck, and I wanted to, yeah, just talk about a few more things. Maybe we'll see what comes up, and as I'm going to the next place. So I decided I'm going to go to the other courthouse. So you'll get to see where that is. And I'll turn the camera around so you can see where I'm driving. And my camera will be kind of act like a dash cam in some ways. And there you go. Let's turn it around. So right now I am on Cooper Street between Elgin and Cartier. Cartier we call it. And I'm going to turn right here. This four-way stop. And this building right here, this brick building here, that is St. Teresa of the Child Jesus Parish. Somerset Street. I'll turn it right here. Wait for this pedestrian. Move that up just a little bit. There's a lot of one-way streets down here, so you gotta make sure that you're going down a two-way street or down the right way. Oop. Speed bump there. Nothing that an F-150 can't handle. My 2013 F-150 that my dad, God rest his soul, bought for me the year before he died. I told him I was going to be, I was thinking of getting a truck, and the next day he said, I want to get that for you. And my dad was not wealthy, but what happened was during that time, I think it was Stephen Harper, Prime Minister Harper, had said, well, we'll give him credit anyway, that he had said Veterans Affairs has all this money in its storehouse, and that belongs to the veterans. So with the Veterans Affairs and the various Royal Canadian Legions, they were contacting veterans, and my dad was a veteran. He served, I think, only 5 years, not in any war, but he served in the Air Force, and he at the time, like in 2013, my dad was not well. So when they visited him, they were asking him, about his health conditions and everything like this, to see if there's anything that they could link back to some sort of injury or something. And he worked in the Air Force, and he was up at Frobisher Bay. I don't even know what they call it now. I don't think you can find that on the map anymore. So we're still on Elgin Street here, and we're approaching Ottawa Police. I think this is the headquarters. They have various stations across the city, but this is, I think, the headquarters. We'll take a right on Catherine Street. In Montreal, there's a famous street called St. Catherine Street. This is Catherine Street. Gotta watch out for pedestrians. It's a whole different thing driving the city compared to the country. Anyway, my dad had hearing aids, and so they linked his hearing loss to possible damage when he was in the Air Force up at Frobisher Bay and working on the airstrip there, and there was no ear protection or something like that, or not very good ear protection. And so they gave him a lump sum of money, and he was able to cover to buy this truck. So I'm going to try to keep this truck as long as I can. It's got 274,000 kilometers, which is, I don't know, times 0.6, and that works out to probably around 150,000 miles. And I've got a quote in right now, just waiting to get a quote back from a body shop to fix some of the holes that are in it. They used to say Ford was standard for fix or repair daily, but this has been a very reliable vehicle. But in 2013, most of the body was still steel. The hood is aluminum, and then in 2014 they switched the whole body to aluminum, so they don't have this rust problem that is typical. When I called up the body shop, I said, "It's a 2013 F-150. You probably know what it is." He said, "Yep. It's the runners and the corner cap, anyway, or whatever it's called. If I don't look after it now, the truck's gonna fall apart. But the frame is good, so that's good." So anyway, I go over to. I left my last live stream there, walking into City Hall, so I go use the washroom. And to my shock, there was security there, where I had to empty my pockets and walk through a metal detector, and they put it on everything under the X-ray. Anyway, I don't know. I guess they're looking for guns or something. Anyway, I don't know how good their X-ray is, but I told them I was going to pee my pants if I don't get through here quickly. And I don't know if they didn't see my pocket knife or not, but they let it come in. Before I was at the courthouse that I was just at, several months ago, I went in there to see if I could use the washroom there. It's just kind of closer, and they have security there, and they wanted to confiscate my Swiss Army knife. Anyway, I was kind of thrown. I kind of lost my serenity for a moment there, and because this is a surveillance state. Oh, it's for our safety. I know, it's always for our safety. It's always for our safety. You got to be kidding me. So the security guard there, he had, you know, a Canadian accent, I guess. So he was darker skinned. But I said, "Did you grow up in Canada?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you're not as old as me. Like, I'm 62, but this is not the same Canada that we grew up in. This is becoming the surveillance state here." And he was agreeing with me. So anyway, that was unbelievable. Then I go to the washroom, and I forgot they made the washrooms all gender neutral. But like, you kind of like go in, there's like all these stalls, but there's no male or female, and the stalls are private. Do I want to be in this lane? Probably not. That's okay. I can take it. I know the city. I think I'm going to be going down Percy Street or something. That's okay. Going to the Queensway. The Queensway, that's the Highway 417, 4 lane, and there's a big traffic jam up there anyway. Bronson Avenue, probably going on to the Queensway. But they call it, inside the city, they call it 417 the Queensway. Anyway, oh, they're making me turn left here. I can't go straight. Always an adventure in the city. Anyway, you get a little bit of a tour, of Ottawa. I gotta watch my acceleration though, because they got all these speed cameras up, and they've changed the speed limits. And if I put the GPS on that says, now I'll go down Lion Street. Here we go. This is a way to do it. This guy's not crossing here. So yeah, so they've got these all gender washrooms, but you walk in and there's like, I don't know, like 8 stalls. So male and female both wash their hands and look in the mirror together, but then they've got private stalls. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's a lot more privacy for the intravenous drug users anyway. So there's that. I'm sorry, I'm being so sarcastic here. But Glebe is a one-way street. I think I could take the next street, and then I've got a set of lights up at Bronson and Carling Avenue. There's, we call it OC Transpo. That's the bus service here, or the public transit. And I was speaking to someone not too long ago who said, you know, used to be able to take one bus all the way downtown. This is down by like Woodruff and Richmond Road, Woodruff and Byron Avenue, where Lady of Fatima Parish is, and which is where I got this photo speeding ticket, 53 in a 40 zone, because I was on my way to, I think, Father Larry McCormick's funeral. God rest his soul. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. Hopefully that works. Anyway, they were saying that they used to be take a bus, you know, it'd take like 15 minutes to go downtown, one bus. And now it takes 45 minutes because they don't run the buses downtown. They change the routes, so they have to take their, you know, whatever multi-billion-dollar new work in progress, tons of problems, light rail. So the buses go to a light rail, so they have to transfer, and they make it more inconvenient. Well, one time we had a talk by the chief administrative officer for the Archdiocese, and he was trying to make a point that the decisions we make will have effect down in the future, for good or for ill. And he was using the fiasco of the light rail transit, LRT, in Ottawa as an example of, now they don't want you to turn left here. That's okay, because I think I could turn right and then left on Carling, if someone will let me in here, because I'm gonna need that, I have a feeling. But I'm gonna need some kindness from one of these drivers here. So he was saying, look, if once they get all the LRT up and running, if a businessman flies into Ottawa at the Ottawa International Airport, YOW, Y-O-W, calling letters for that airport, then okay, is someone gonna let me in? Because they should, and this guy didn't. Okay, this guy, come on, let me just stick my head out there. Thank you very much, I really appreciate that. I was just sticking my hand out in the air, but I have no choice but to, well, thank you very much, and God bless you. I give him the sign of the cross. Maybe he's Catholic and he appreciates that. Okay. So anyhow, if someone flies in there and they're a businessman, come for a business conference, they want to go downtown to the Westin Hotel, which is down basically where Parliament Hill is, and the Chateau Laurier Hotel and everything like that, because that's where it's a big conference center for businesses and whatnot. Well, I have to transfer 4 times. And they, you know, and they say, you know, for environmental reasons, they want people to take public transit, right? They don't want people taking taxis and whatever. So he's saying like what a terrible mistake it was. And then later I was thinking, no, it wasn't a mistake. It was a mistake. That's by plan. Have you never heard of 15-minute cities? They don't want people traveling easy. They only want the elite. They only want the political class to be able to fly even. And they'll take their limousines down and they'll whatever. So anyway, now I'm starting to sound bitter. I don't mean to sound bitter. But anyway, all this security stuff, it's all planned. It's all about treating us like cattle and everything like that. So on the way out, I'm asking one of the security guards, and I mean, I can tell she wasn't, you know, it's a young woman there, you know, two young women at this post here, and they. Well, it's kind of like going down to the courthouse and you know, people paying tickets. No one's happy. So anyway, she handled it well. She just said thank you, have a nice day or whatever. I said, look, I know it's not, you didn't make the policy, you're just doing your job, but this is terrible what's happening to my city. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the city, but or whatever, whoever they are. And so I asked them, how long has this been up? They said 2 weeks. It's been up for 2 weeks. No, she said 2 months. 2 months. And you gotta keep your eye out. Here's all these people. They're walking in the middle of the intersection, which is that's fine. I don't mind them doing that, except you watch it for traffic and pedestrians and everything. And now I'm gonna have to get into the next lane here. I see ahead. Squeeze through here. Carling Avenue I'm on. This is notorious for the worst road in Ottawa. But if no, because I could have turned left there. I still could. Maybe I'll do that. We'll just go down Prince of Wales Parkway here. It's on the way. It's probably better anyway. Because, like I said, Carling Avenue is like one of the worst roads for potholes and whatnot. So, just going to straighten out here a little bit. Lest the policeman say I crossed the solid line. Anyway, 2 months I said, has there been any problems? No, it's all for safety. Yeah, but there has been no problem. So, citizens of Ottawa, there is your tax dollars at work. Treating you like cattle, treating everyone like cattle. And then I walk out and I get to the truck, and thank God I was like 1 minute late to my truck before my parking, whatever they call it, parking permit was to expire, and there's helicopters going over, and I hear sirens in the background. And I was talking to a friend yesterday who was saying, I didn't go walking around, but she's seeing all these people hunched over, like walking around like 90 degrees, hunched back. Yeah, that's fentanyl. So that's the city of Ottawa for you. Okay, I don't know. Nobody's on the live right now. It's a beautiful day. That's good. I hope people are out enjoying the weather, getting some vitamin D, and sunshine. There's a free car wash. Cement particles, no charge, no extra charge. Anyway, don't know what the speed limit is here, so maybe it's 40. I better not go much faster. I better hold up the traffic behind me. I don't want to get another speeding ticket. I don't know. It's supposed to be that if it's not posted, it's 50 kilometers per hour. Unless it's, in the rural area, and then and there's a country road, and it's 80. There's a little roundabout. This is at the experimental farm. Could have went up there to show you, but I didn't think. I got stuck in this lane. But on the right here is the experimental farm. When I was a boy, Mom and Dad used to take me and my sister here all the time. Look at the gardens, sit in the trees, get pictures of us sitting in the trees. It's very nice. I think most of those trees, they have plaques on them saying what species they are of trees. Oh, it's 60, so I can go a little faster. I don't know what they do with the experimental farm, with all this corn that they have up here. Do they sell it, or are they experimenting with genetically modified techniques? I don't know what they're doing. But it provides a nice green space anyway. A little bit of calming effect for those who live in the city. And where I'm going to is I'm going to the Provincial Offences Courthouse. And I know they don't like videoing or they don't allow in the sitting area and the courts. They don't allow that in Canada. So I might be able to have it discreetly with me as I go and plead not guilty. I'm not sure. So coming up to Baseline Road here, which is also Heron Road. As a matter of fact, turning left, it would be Heron Road. Turning right is Baseline Road. Here we go. I don't know if they've reduced the speed on Baseline Road from 60 to 50. No, it's 60. I can see it. That's good. Experimental farm to the right, houses to the left. These houses on the left, they were kind of after World War II houses. Some of the bigger ones they built. Thank you for those who came and left a thumbs up, even though you're not listening or watching now. That's fine. Leave in comments or whatever. Or on the live chat if you want. Any questions you might have for me, but whatever. I know some people have suggested a couple topics, and I could kind of comment on them, give you a little bit of my thoughts. YouTube, 22 minutes. Jesus loves you. Anyway, I know someone asked if I would talk about scrupulosity, and another one is looking for some tips about, struggling with faith, and feeling like losing faith. So those things I could definitely offer my 2 cents worth, and hopefully some help. And with regards to both those topics, mean, it sounds kind of like a platitude or something, but the reality is, when I reflect on my own life and just 20 years as a priest now, I really think that we we don't fully accept, we don't accept as much as we could, or we forget that God loves us. On the left here, that's a Villa Marconi. There is a chapel in there. It's Italian, but there is a chapel with Blessed Sacrament there. And on the very left here, just well, I can't turn the camera, but there's used to be the Ukrainian Catholic Seminary, but now the Queenship of Mary Sisters have taken residence in there, in St. Augustine's Parish right beside. But yeah, a lot of times I'll say, when we fall into sin or we act unbecoming of a Christian, of being a Christian, and that is we're forgetting our dignity because we're sons and daughters of God. We're royal. We're part of the royal family. But I've been reflecting a lot about temptation and sin, and that could be tempting with our faith, even believing in God, and or in institutions, or the institution of the church, we might say. But temptations to sin, or when we turn to things that we know are not good for consolation, and maybe we worry about things, this type of thing, and I think, speaking for myself, it's because I forget that God loves me. I forget that. So instead of turning to Him and trusting that things will work out, and trusting that my discomfort will pass, I look for consolation. Might fall into sin to one degree or another. So with a scrupulous person, who it's kind of, and this is not the be all and end all. I mean, I'm a priest 20 years, and hearing confessions, whatever, but it doesn't mean I'm an expert. I have the last word on this. But it's like our idea of God, or the dynamics that we have with our relationship with God, is one that we have to be perfect. That everything has to be just so. And it's kind of like that. I think a scrupulous person, maybe on a subconscious level, is that's kind of maybe what might help remedy it, because it's like we have this relationship with God that we have to be perfect, and I'll give someone a penance, right, and I'll say, pray the Our Father once, right, and a scrupulous person will pray the Our Father, and instead of then maybe thanking God for such mercy, a scrupulous person might say, oh, I didn't say it right, or I wasn't fully concentrating. And they might end up praying that Our Father 10 times before they can be at peace that they've done their penance. And so that's why a priest will give a specific penance, and it's very light to maybe someone who might suffer from scrupulosity. Because if I say, pray that Our Father 10 times, meditating on God's love for you or something, or sometimes I'll say, pray the Our Father, keeping in mind that God loves everybody, if we're struggling with resentment to other people or something, right? But if I say 10 times, the scrupulous person might say it 100 times. They might spend their whole rest of the day, and they say, oh, did I do that 9 times or 10 times? And, for those of you who have your own children, so I don't have my own children, no physical children, but I'm told that you love them so much. You couldn't even believe that you could love anyone so much. And well, don't you think God is love, right? St. John says. So God loves you more than you love your children. He loves your children more than you love your children. So don't you think he understands that you're not perfect? And he's not expecting you to be perfect? So I think a remedy to scrupulosity is reminding yourself that God really loves you. I was working with a priest once where he was helping me out at the retreat center. And we're I don't know what we're doing exactly. What lane am I supposed to be in here? I think I'm okay. I can be in this lane. But anyway, I said, yeah, that's pretty good. That's good. I said, that's good. Maybe you're, I don't know, leveling something or other. I said, that's good. And then he said, you know what my brother says? He says, it's not only good, it's good enough. And I laughed. And I think of that often when I'm trying to do something just perfectly. It's good enough. And yeah, there is that aspect in the spiritual life to try to do ordinary things extraordinarily well for the love of God. But, you know, up at St. Patrick's Basilica in Ottawa when they were doing the renovations and restoring everything, this was probably 25 years ago or so, I was up on the scaffolding. I was invited up to go, and I'm looking behind a pillar, and everything is done meticulously, and no one will see it. No one will see it, but the artist wanted to do it because it's like God sees it, and he's doing it for love of God. Okay, fair enough. But love, it is about love. It's not about perfectionism. And, you know, just God is just, he's just crazy about you, that's all. Now, you know, on the other side of the spectrum, someone might use that, and we call it presumption, right? Presuming upon God's love, or presuming upon God's love and mercy. Okay, well, this is why we're on earth. We're works in progress, you know, growing in our relationship with God, growing in our maturity, growing in virtue, by the grace of God, and practicing virtue. And we're learning how to love others on earth instead of resent them and stuff like that. So that's that. And the faith thing, especially struggling faith, and you know, I mean, speaking for myself anyway, especially the last 4 years, but quite frankly, for 20 years as a priest and 25 years going back, you know, as a seminarian, it's difficult, you know, with our expectations of priests and bishops. I'm gonna get in the left lane here. It's a little bit tricky because I'm slipping in between cars, and I'm gonna take this street right here. Anyway, I think it's kind of a purging on Earth right now, a kind of a purification. I think that we're invited to depend more wholeheartedly on God and less on individuals, like human beings on Earth. And we have a responsibility not to allow ourselves to get scandalized. And you know, following my channel, you've heard me, if you've watched some of it, enough videos, that I see just a whole dysfunctional human race right now. It's all dysfunctional. It's all codependent. Um, and people operate out of learned behavior, that learned meaning that they've what makes sense of the world for them and what works for them. That's why you have, control freaks. That's why you have some people that, keep getting into trouble because they fell into the scapegoat role, and others don't. There's all sorts of things, right? But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt that they mean well and they're trying to do good. But in any organization, this is Constellation Drive. This was all farm fields when I was growing up. This is all farm fields. And we didn't come down this far from where I lived, but we used to build forts in the fields and the abandoned farm and stuff like this. Oh, I could actually go straight. I can turn left or turn. That building there up ahead is the building I'm going to. I can go straight or turn left. This is basically employee parking as I'm going to, but I'm not going to park here because they got tons of bylaw here looking for people that don't have permits. There's one. No, I thought I saw one right there. I was told by one of the bylaw officers that, well, or one of the city workers actually, that because there's the bus station right here in Algonquin College, that some college students or people, they'll come and they'll park here and then go take the bus, and they don't like that. But don't worry, eventually the city will start charging for parking here. But I'm grateful that they're not charging for parking here, if I can get a visitor parking spot. So yeah, so with any organization, especially as it gets bigger and bigger, it becomes less and less efficient, and morale, right? Morale, M-O-R-A-L-E, morale becomes a problem. Now these parking spots, they make them narrow, which is a little bit of a challenge for this big truck. But I guess they must have cleared court. They must have been able to clear court pretty good because there's a lot of spots open. So I'm going to back in over here where there's 2 open spots. So as things morale gets lower, I was watching this car guy. He has a YouTube channel, and he's talking about why mechanics are leaving. The profession. And he was explaining all the little ins and outs and all the headaches and whatnot. And how the pay structure penalizes them, everything like this. And they're good with their hands and they're smart. They could go be a plumber and it'd be a lot easier than being a car mechanic. So he's kind of giving people a heads up about stuff like that. And then I was listening to another one. He used to be an engineer for GM. And he was explaining the roles that he played. But he's explaining why, because of cutting costs, it was frustrating for the engineers. And he was describing why vehicles don't last very long anymore. And so things kind of get worse and worse and worse. And I've explained before too that just the reality, maybe it shouldn't be this way, but it is. The reality is that bishops are chosen, priests are chosen to become bishops from amongst priests who don't rock the boat, who don't solve problems. Okay, it's what they. That's the reality. So that, you know, and if a priest, when a man becomes a priest, and he goes into a parish, and he tries to fix things, then he gets complaints about him, and it's kind of like the mechanic. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to unhook this, and we'll go for a walk inside the courthouse here. We'll see how far I can get taking pictures. I'm just going to put my other around here. So just bear with me. And I did see one person leave a question, and I'll try to get to it. The question is, my Catholic relatives once told me that I am a heathen. Why would they tell me that? I don't know. Maybe you are. I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, well, here I am talking about bishops or whatever, that we have this expectation of bishops of being like the greatest apologists and the greatest defenders of the faith, and really saints, living saints. And we've got many examples through history of holy bishops and holy priests. Okay, just give me a second as I put this in the selfie stick here. It's gonna look a little weird, but there we go. And well, I should try to put my headphones in. I'll leave it. It'll be okay. It's not downtown with traffic noise. So so we have this kind of expectation of priests and bishops, but the reality is, Jesus calls, wounded men. We're all wounded. Every human being. And he seems to like to choose broken people. Let's just seem to choose broken people. Maybe that's so that we have compassion for other people. It's probably why. I'll just kind of. It's hard to hold the camera close to me. I don't necessarily want to cause anyone anxiety with me holding the camera like this, but anyway. Oh, I gotta go back to the truck. I'll do this. I gotta go back to the truck because I gotta get my ticket. If I'm gonna plead not guilty, I gotta go get the ticket. They want you to do it online, but I like to do it in person, so I can see people and talk to them and wish them a good day and say God bless you. Resisting. So look, if bishops and priests and religious sisters who we've given our life, we've sacrificed family, and we've given our life, answered the call. If we are far from perfect in living out the gospel, right, the way it should be, then we should give our families a break. So just because someone is Catholic, or just because they go to church, doesn't mean doesn't mean they're perfect. Going to church doesn't make you perfect. Over time, if you listen and this is gonna look a little weird here. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Turning that. Okay. Just bear with me here. There's that. There we go. that ticket. Um, like miracles can happen. Someone can have a dramatic conversion experience, and it's night and day, and their life changes drastically, and they become, instead of being self-centered, they become concerned with others. Instead of being vulgar, they clean up their act, and they're just like loving and affirming people and everything like that. But in general, we have to put the effort in. And people go to church for all sorts of different reasons. I'm glad they're in church, and everyone ought to go to church. But we shouldn't, like, again, lowering expectations of people, just in general. But remember that some people, look, what did we see the last 5 years? We saw a lot of virtue signaling, right? We saw a lot of virtue signaling, and those of you who watch this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Well, maybe some people, they feel so bad about themselves, and they go to church to make themselves feel like they're a good person, and they do try to be good persons, but it doesn't mean they're not dysfunctional. And then you take the dysfunction, and then you mix that in with religion, and you make the dysfunction kind of a moral imperative. So, yep. So don't take it personally they called you a heathen, but don't be a heathen. Don't be a heathen. But Jesus is the judge. Don't worry about anyone else. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around. Actually, this is gonna be weird, but I'm gonna just I'm gonna keep it running, but I'm gonna eventually put it to me and kind of put the phone down, so it's gonna look really weird. Okay. Oh, you're very welcome.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Make room for me to get in. Oh, there you go. Hi there. So I don't know what you'll see or if you can see anything, but the phone might be down. I don't know how much the lineup is. Well, there's only like one person in line, so I'm gonna put the phone down so I can say the phone's not on anybody. Weird. Just gonna put this in my pocket here. That. Sure, that's just showing my shirt. Yeah, so it's not on. Oh, I'm supposed to be standing back. I forgot it. It's the line. How you doing today? Well, as good as you can be for being here, right? Nice day.
Nice day.
Are you new to Canada?
Almost 2 years.
Oh, well, welcome to Canada, my friend. You got a Canadian hat. Canadian maple leaf hat. Where do you come from?
Constant.
From where? Oh, well, again, welcome to Canada.
I had one of autumn.
Yeah.
About,
Yeah.
it was 120. It was for some stone. But I realized for 145.
It's a cash grab. It's a cash grab. It's not.
I have
It's not. I'm gonna plead not guilty. I won't be able to fight this, but I'm guilty. I'll get a trial date, and then I won't have to pay for a couple months until I get the trial date.
but
So there's a way.
due date is 23. I have to pay today.
Today. You can ask them if you can plead not guilty and get a trial date. If you have the time and you want to do it, 'cause then you just you get a trial date. You don't have to pay it till the trial date. Well, and then mind you, if you get they might offer you something. Okay. So I think I'm going to sit down over here. So this is the entrance to the place, and there's a phone here for some reason, and I'll just turn the camera to me, and well, I'll show you. There's the security desk or whatever. It's really more information desk, but there's security guards there. And I turned left when I got around that corner over there, and remember there was only one person ahead of me. Well, after I left, there was like 10 people there. So I guess I held them up. I guess I caused the line up a little bit. But there you go. I pleaded not guilty. Now they're going to mail me a trial date. And I won't have to pay the ticket for however many months before the trial date. And then I can come down here and I can see how it works and see if I can get a reduced fine or see if I can get 6 months to pay it or a year to pay it or whatever. So, and I'll see whoever I meet down here. So I'm just gonna wait because I did meet that gentleman in line there. And again, I get the feeling that not too many people people don't talk to each other. So I think he was very happy that I spoke with him, and he went to shake my hand there. He just shook hands with me, and I said, "Do you want to talk? You want to talk after?" And he wasn't sure, so I have a feeling he might have to wait in line. So maybe I'll just say a little prayer for him and for everyone here. It's just so sad. Like all the people, I don't think he saw it, but because I wanted the camera off going in that area, so the police wouldn't give me a hard time. But because they say no filming in there. But there's all these people, and they're just people that got caught. They got caught in the trap. So, like something's not working because the purpose is not so that people won't speed or won't park illegally, because it's the threat of a fine to stop people. Okay, I guess I'll leave. Okay. So I hope that was useful to someone. Maybe driving through Ottawa there, seeing a little bit of the city. hearing my little rant. Oh, you made it through. Okay.
have to attach my ownership.
Oh, you have to go get
Yeah.
something, and then you got to
Yeah.
sit and wait.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Nice
yeah.
to see you.
Well, nice
God
to meet
bless
you,
you.
Father.
Nice
What's
to
your
meet
name?
you.
By the way, I'm on a YouTube channel. I'll give
Oh,
it to you
really?
later. I'm on live right now. But yeah. Sorry, what's your name?
Abdul.
Abdul. Well, really nice to meet you, Abdul.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Bye.
So I always say, everyone here, Abdul, everyone here paying tickets and everything. They're not bad people. You just got caught in a trap. You know. It's a money grab. But anyway.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. All the best, man. Okay. Okay. He's got to hurry up. He's got to get his registration and go back in. They want more information from him. Oh well. Okay, so I think I answered that earlier question. The thing is, we have to rely on God. And we have to love even those who say they're Catholic, say they're Christian, but maybe they don't act it. We have to love them. And we should assume that they're doing their best. Because none of us are perfect. And maybe, you know, maybe I'll just keep walking for a little bit. Maybe if what was I gonna say? Oh, a little bit of wind. So you're probably getting wind noise. There's my beers separating because of the breeze. Yeah, maybe if there was some perfect person in our life that never let us down, okay, like I will let you down. I remember Father Bob Adair, God rest his soul. He was an amazing preacher, and he said, "Look, I will let you down." It's not that he tries, not that I try, not that anyone tries to let you down, but imagine if there was someone on earth that never let us down, was 100% reliable, 100% kind, affirming, everything we would want in a human being, and then we become dependent on them, and then it's like they become our God, you know. And I reflected on that like many years ago, going back to when I was a teenager and stuff, and different steady girlfriends that I had, and realizing in retrospect that for some of them I made them my God. I mean, I would pray to God, but they were the center of my life. And if one of them broke up with me, my heart was broken, like crushed. And okay, that's part of being human, but part of the problem was, you know, I I was looking to them for my happiness. So going back to what I was saying before, looking for consolation. Instead of looking for consolation in God, who will never let you down, and realizing that we have to be proactive. We have to see, the commandment is not that others will love you, right? The commandment is that we would love others. Love one another. You know, we should receive people's love and kindness and everything like that, but our happiness does not depend on anyone else changing. Our happiness does not depend on anyone else loving us, except for God, and He does love you. He does love us. So, it's a turning around of perspective. It's that softball and baseball analogy again. It's the don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Well, don't ask what others can do for you, but what you can do for others. And be grateful. I mean, people help me all the time. I rely on people's donations just to live day to day. So, I'm very grateful to all of you, and I'm grateful to God for each of you, and may you receive 100-fold, and eternal happiness for the practicing the virtue of generosity and charity, and which is love. But we it's an attitude change, right? Not one of self-pity, not one of, oh, no one loves me, but one of, who am I going to love? And because God loves me, and no human being. And those of you who are married, you know that. You marry your best friend, you marry someone who understands you, but how long after you're married do you realize actually no, they don't really love me, or they not no, they don't love me. They do love you, but they don't really understand me. You know, the Lord is the only one who understands you. So, you know, trust in Him, develop that relationship, develop that personal prayer. That is your interior dialogue, your interior conversation with God. Develop those things, and then don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Remember Brother Lawrence, the practice of the presence of God, and he was asked. I think it's right in that book there, Practice of the Presence of God. He says, someone asked him, it must be so hard. You're so holy to see all the sin that's in the world. And he says, actually, if I remember his answer correctly, it was actually knowing my capacity for sin and everybody's capacity to sin. I'm surprised there's not a whole lot more of it. So there's a good attitude shift, right? There's a good attitude shift. And like I've been trying to do on my posts there, with pictures of nature and everything, heaven and earth are full of His glory. So let's look for the good that's in the world. There's more good in the world than there is evil. Evil is a deprivation of good, right? So imperfections, right? Um, you know, God is perfect. That's why He can't do evil. He's all powerful. If He could do evil, He wouldn't be all powerful, because evil is a defect. It's a defect. Um, so, um, so, so that's, I think, ultimately the key. And we forget, and I forget sometimes. So I might fall into self-pity sometimes. I might fall into some depression sometimes. But, but the solution seems to always that God loves me, and He is with you, and He gave you a guardian angel. You're never alone, and 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 yeah. It's what is that? It's that prayer that's attributed to Saint Francis of Assisi. I think it's probably not his authorship, but Lord, make me an instrument of peace. You know, where there's I don't have off by heart, but where there's hatred, let me sow kindness, and let me seek not so much to be understood as to understand. So yeah, I like that baseball analogy. You're playing the infield. You got to say, "Give me the ball, and I'm gonna go get it," instead of "Don't hit it to me." So instead of kind of waiting to be loved by others, just love others. Um, and that can twist into something that's not good too, because that's like that could be like a caretaker role, where you're taking on too much and you're burning yourself out. It's not that. It's not hard. My my you know my yoke is sweet, my burden is light. It's really just giving God permission, right? Did that take anything from me to go and be friendly, to talk to the guy in line, to be friendly to the clerk who is getting complaints and all this stuff? You know, he answered my questions. He took my, you know, I'm probably like 1 in 1,000, or maybe 1 in 10,000 that doesn't leave their phone number. Because I'm like, no, you can mail it to me. You can mail it to me. I'm not giving the government my email and phone number, right? So, uh, but but was it any sweat off my back to be friendly to these people and to introduce myself, ask him what his name was, and the guy was very polite. He said, "Oh, hello, thank you, Father." And I said, "Well, God bless you, and God bless you too." You know, maybe that was maybe it didn't make his day. Maybe it's not the highlight of his day, but how many people shake their hands with a priest on a Wednesday at their place of employment? You know, so, but you can do the same thing even if you're not a priest. You know, you can still say thank you very much. And you can show a little bit of compassion, sympathy for the guys. Kind of like, oh, it must be hard here. Like you're here all day, like, you know, and and people aren't in good moods and stuff like that. I say, yeah, it's not too bad though. And I say, yeah, well, you're very good at it. What's wrong with, give them a little affirmation. Maybe he goes home and his wife never is just complaining about it, nagging him, and say, oh, maybe he's not such a bad person because, you said you told him he does his job well, or or thank you very much, things like that. So okay, so some people are leaving some comments, so I look forward to that. I will turn the camera over to Center, Mary Pitt Center. Apparently, someone was telling me that's the name of that building, 100 Constellation Drive, where the courthouses are and whatever other offices. And I wish I could take the camera into the courtroom. I wish I could take it right in there and show you how I sit there and I just observe, because you're allowed to do that because the courts are open. Sometimes it's a closed session, but usually it's not. And you just go sit there and you observe, and then afterwards, I go over and I introduce myself to the prosecutor, and and I'll come back. I don't think I'll go in there now, but but you know I might turn off the live stream and go in and see who's there. Maybe like I've met a few of the prosecutors already. I remember their names, and it'd be nice to go in and say hello to them, and maybe they'll give me some sort of tip for this photo ticket that I got. The photo ticket's kind of funny because it goes to the person who's the vehicle is registered to, but there's no demerit points. There's no penalty on your driving record because they can't prove who the driver was. You could have lent the vehicle to somebody else, and so there's no penalties for that. So it's just the fine, and but maybe they'll give me some tip about how I can beat this. But at the very least, I don't have to pay it for another 4 or 5 months. And when I go there, I can change my plea to guilty if it's unbeatable, or I can say not guilty and say, well, I might as well plead not guilty because what the worst can happen, right, is the fine plus court fees, which is not very much, not 20% or something. But maybe the justice of peace will be why are you pleading not guilty? Because I can't afford the ticket. That's why I'm pleading not guilty. Do you have any defense? No. No. And maybe the judge will say, okay, I'll give you 12 months to pay it, or I'll reduce the fine in half or something. Who knows? But in the meantime, I get to meet people and I get to say God bless you to the justice of peace. So anyway, there you go. Anyway, someone was telling me Mary Pitt Center, apparently she was the administrative assistant for the mayor of Nepean. She's big. This used to be Nepean, the city of Nepean. It used to be the township of Nepean, then the city of Nepean, and then they amalgamated them all into the city of Ottawa. And the city of Nepean, we had our own police force, our own mayor, our own council, our own. We had our own fire department, everything. And what was neat about City of Nepean, we were very proud of it, is that we were not in deficit. And but when we joined the City of Ottawa with amalgamation, well, that was forced on us by the province. Then then everyone's in debt, and government gets bigger, and everything costs more. And there you go. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera to me. I'm going to look. No, I'm going to turn the camera away. Sorry, I'm just checking the live chat here, and I'm just reading them now. Someone said, I know a few people that left Canada some 20 years ago with their business because of the tax system. Yeah, well, one of you in the chat left the country because he can see the writing on the wall here in Canada too. I mean, it is a great country. Like, people are good everywhere, really, in a sense, but cultures are different and everything. But the political system here is not going in a good direction. We are going authoritarian, communist, surveillance state. We are going 15-minute cities, unless enough people wake up. But God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, the wisdom of the difference. Oh, someone says, oh yes, the lovely people who secretly write to bishops without speaking to their priests. Yeah, first, yeah, we get called, priests in a parish, he gets a call from the bishop, goes to see the bishop, and then he's told that someone complained about, and always trying to do is the right thing. Always trying to do is the right thing. 99% of the time, he didn't do anything wrong. You know. Okay. Okay. I promise I will start doing some more videos and more live streams. I'm going to have to. I have a need to give what I have, and and I need you too. I need you to pray for me, and I need your financial support too. So, um, but more on that later. And I need to give you something to give you a reason to appreciate the channel. And but I would like to give you more inside baseball about the church, about how things really are. Not in any way am I putting down the church or bishops or priests or anything like that. I'm just telling you the way it actually is, so that our expectations can be adjusted accordingly into reality instead of wishful thinking. Because I don't want any of us to lose our faith, because Jesus did found his church. There's only one way to heaven, and that's through him. And he's in the house, you know, he's in the house. And let's be the contributors. Let's be contributors in society and in the church and the parish, wherever you are, everywhere you go. And let's maybe cut other people slack, because they're not perfect, because we're not perfect either. And maybe the Lord will be merciful to us as we are merciful to them. And that's actually also my message to the prosecutors and to the justice of the peace. It's like, may the Lord be as merciful to you as you have been to me. So, and that's the law, right? That is the law. You will be forgiven if you forgive. And you will be shown mercy if you've shown mercy. So there you go. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Go in peace, live in the truth, live free. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.